books.
Sure.
You draw, design clothes, and create handmade books. When did you realize that you had a passion for writing?
I've had a passion for writing since I was a child, basically, and my parents still have notebooks filled with my little scribbles and poetry and sketches. So it's something that's always chosen me. It's always been my first love.
How did you start sharing this poetry of yours?
It's a funny story because one day randomly, it was completely random, I just posted some of my poems on Tumblr, and I think I must have tagged it with the literature tag because a literature blog came along and reblogged me, and yeah, all of a sudden my poetry was just going viral.
Well, it's great that the world discovered you.
Yeah.
We're so much better that you shared your poetry with us.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy.
I read that you first compiled your poetry into a handmade book.
Yes.
How was that like?
Before I was showing my poetry online, I was just hand making limited edition art books, but they have bits of poetry. Yeah, just I'd sell them as limited edition copies as art pieces, but there'd only be 100. So yeah.
There's so many of us who want to read your books.
Yes, I'm glad because initially Love Misadventure was meant to be a handmade version, so I'm glad I went into publishing because I don't know if I would have been able to keep up with making each one.
And how did you end up with Andrews and McNeil publishing it globally?
Because initially I self-published Love Misadventure, but because the book was getting so much traction and attention, I was approached by 2 New York literary agents, and it was like really weird. It was like being in a movie, and I'd signed up with Writers House, and yeah, they just got me a publishing deal within a week, basically.
Can you tell us about your literary influences? Who are your favorite authors and books?
Michael Fode. Michael, yeah, has a new book out, Dirty Pretty Things, which National are trying to get a hold of, but we're working with National, so hopefully we can get his book in here soon, because I know all of you are dying to read it.
We can find a way, either.
Yeah.
We can talk about options.
Yeah, definitely.
What about other authors?
Emily Dickinson has always been a stylistic influence, and probably my favourite as a kid, and Robert Frost as well, because he writes a lot about nature, which I love.
Can you tell us more about Love Misadventure and Lullabies?
They're both special to me in their own way. I mean, Love Misadventure was my first baby, so to speak. And I went through this whole journey with that, just dipping my toes in the publishing world. So I think Lullabies was more about me growing up a little bit and taking it more seriously, if that's the right way to put it. I think it wasn't until Lullabies that it really sunk in that I was an author and this was my line of work.
What inspired you to write poems about love and being heartbroken? From where do you get this heartbrokenness? if you don't mind us asking.
It's just like regular life, I guess. You just go through life. But in the last 2 years, I've really gotten my inspiration from all of you because I've interacted with you on a daily basis, and you're always sharing your stories with me. And because of that, I think there's just this big pool of inspiration that I've been able to draw from. So I thank you all for that.
What is your process of writing poetry like?
I don't really have a process, to be honest. I just write whenever I feel like it. I try to write as often as I can, but definitely nighttime is more, a creative period for me.
I read in your interview that if a poem comes to you in your sleep,
yeah,
you try to get up and
I try to get up and write it, but sometimes I'm a bit too lazy to, and I've lost some poems that way. So
does
sorry.
a lot of poetry come to you in your dreams?
In my dreams, not really, no. But it's really funny because I do have dreams where in my dream I think, wow, that's really amazing, but when I wake up it's not so good.
That's why it's so true. What's next in the pipeline for you? Can you tell us about your other upcoming projects?
Yes, there's going to be a 3rd poetry and prose book. So hopefully that's coming in September next year, hopefully. That's the tentative date. And I'm also working on a novel as well. I'm halfway through the novel, so fingers crossed. I've been working really hard on that, and I haven't released any of it yet, but it has been inspiring a lot of my poetry lately. My characters have been inspiring me.
I read this short prose in Lullabies where the two people write a story together.
Yeah.
And then the girl falls in love with the prince.
Yeah. She falls in love with the Prince Mirage. Yeah, despondency.
Is it gonna be something like that? It's very poignant.
Yeah, sort of, but it's got a similar sentiment. I mean, a lot of my work does have that feeling to it, so it will have that feeling, but it will be a different story.
Do you have any advice to give to aspiring authors and poets in the audience?
Absolutely.
Or artists?
I think, if you want to be a writer, just give yourself that time to find your voice, and it can take a long time, but you've really just got to work at it, and when you do find that voice, you'll know it, because it's instinctive. It's like falling in love. You'll just know when you found it, and when you do, just really believe in yourself. Keep writing, keep pushing your work, because it's that belief that's going to get you to where you want to go if you're writing.
At this point, let us now listen to Lang as she reads some of her poems.
Patience and Love agreed to meet at a set time and place beneath the 23rd tree in the olive orchard. Patience arrived promptly and waited. She checked her watch every so often, but still, there was no sign of love. Was it the 23rd tree or the 56th? She wondered, and decided to check just in case. As she made her way over to the 56th tree, Love arrived at 23, where Patience was noticeably absent. Love waited and waited before deciding he must have the wrong tree, and perhaps it was another where they were supposed to meet. Meanwhile, Patience had arrived at the 56th tree, where Love was nowhere to be seen. Both began to drift aimlessly around the olive orchard, almost meeting but never do. Finally, Patience, who was feeling lost and resigned, found herself beneath the same tree where she began. She stood there for barely a minute when there was a tap on her shoulder. It was Love. "Where are you?" she asked. "I have been searching all my life." "Stop looking for me," Love replied, "and I will find you. Regrets." Timing is irrelevant when two people are meant for each other. It's what I once believed. But we met during a time when I was such a mess, when I still had so much to figure out. How could I have known how crucial every word, every action was, or how losing you would be something I would always regret? If only you could have met me now, how different it would be, how much I have changed, how I have grown. I learned so much from all the mistakes I made with you. I just wish I had made them with someone else. Thank you. Her words. Love a girl who writes and live her many lives. You have yet to find her beneath her words of guise. Kiss her blue ink fingers, forgive the pens they marked, the stain of your lips upon her, the one she can't discard. Forget her tattered memories or the pages others took. You are her ever after, the hero of her book, an artist in love. I drew him in my world, I write him in my lines. I want to be his girl, he was never meant as mine. I drew him in my world, he is always on my mind. I draw his every line, it hurts when he's unkind. I drew him in my world, I draw him all the time, but I don't know where to draw the line.
Do you have a message to share with everyone who is here today?
Thank you all of you for coming today. For those who couldn't be here because of the storm, don't worry, I'll be back again soon, and I'm really happy that those of you who decided to play it safe and stay at home ahead of the weather. Because I was so worried last night. Had trouble sleeping because I had a few people write to me saying, I'm going to drive out 8 hours or 3 hours to see you, and I thought I don't want them to be stranded. So I'm really glad that that they didn't end up coming, and I look forward to seeing them when I come again in the future, which I will, and hopefully to see all of you as well. And you guys have been just so amazing and supportive, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.